If you knew who you could become, if you truly saw the future version of yourself, the one who finally stopped hesitating, the one who finally stopped wasting time, you wouldn't spend another second scrolling mindlessly or doubting your potential. You'd feel a fire inside you, right now, pushing you to move. And that's exactly why I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes. Because this message might be the one thing that finally wakes something up inside you. Before we go deeper, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Financial Reality, because everything we talk about here is designed to push you closer to the future you're capable of creating, not the one you've been settling for. Now, imagine this for a moment. You're standing in front of two versions of yourself. One version is the person you are today, tired, stressed, maybe frustrated with your own habits, stuck in routines you wish you could break. And then there's the other version, the one you avoid thinking about because deep down, you know how powerful that person could be. That version of you is disciplined, focused, confident. He wakes up earlier, he thinks differently, he doesn't procrastinate, and he doesn't let fear make decisions for him. He looks like someone you admire. And the crazy part is, it's not a fantasy. That's just you, minus the distractions, minus the excuses, minus the wasted hours that quietly eat your life away. The real tragedy is that most people will never meet that version of themselves, not because they can't, but because they won't slow down long enough to realize how much time they're throwing away. You don't even notice it. 10 wasted minutes become 30. 30 become an hour. 1 hour turns into a whole evening. And what do people say? It's fine, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow isn't a real day. Tomorrow is a storage unit for dreams that never get opened. And the more you delay, the heavier your life starts to feel. Not because you're tired, but because you're carrying the weight of all the things you know you should be doing, but aren't doing. And when that weight gets heavy enough, you start believing lies about yourself. You start saying things like, maybe I'm not meant for more, or maybe this is just who I am, or maybe I'll just always struggle. But none of that is true. You're not struggling because you're weak. You're struggling because you've never seen the full picture of who you could become if you stopped giving your time to things that don't matter. Let me ask you something real. When was the last time you sat down and said, what do I actually want my life to look like? Not what your friends want, not what your family expects, not what society pushes on you, but you. What do you want? Because the moment you define that, your wasted time starts shrinking. You stop saying yes to nonsense. You stop chasing distractions. You stop living like your life is a rehearsal. This is the real thing. There are no every day you waste is a day that the best version of you never gets to exist. And maybe you've felt that pressure before. Maybe you've felt moments where your chest gets tight because you know you're not living up to your potential. But instead of acting on it, you numb it with entertainment, with scrolling, with comfort. Comfort is the silent killer of ambition. It feels harmless, even earned. But comfort keeps you from facing the truth. Your dream life requires a version of you that you haven't built yet. And building that version of you isn't complicated. It's uncomfortable, sure, but it's not complicated. It starts with one simple shift: respecting your future more than you crave comfort in the present. Think about how different your life would look if every time you were about to waste an hour, you paused and asked yourself, is this helping the man I want to become? Imagine if every night before bed, instead of watching mindless content, you invested 30 minutes into learning a skill that moves you forward. Imagine if every morning, instead of hitting snooze 3 times, you got up and did one thing, just one that made you better. Small wins become big wins. Big wins become new habits. New habits reshape your identity. And once your identity changes, your life follows. People think transformation is some dramatic, movie-style moment where everything changes overnight. It's not. Real transformation is quiet. It happens when no one is watching. It happens in the small decisions you make when you're tired, when you're bored, when you're tempted to slip back into old patterns. The future version of you is built in those invisible moments. And if you knew how incredible that version of you could be, you wouldn't waste another minute. You wouldn't choose laziness over progress. You wouldn't choose distractions over discipline. You wouldn't keep hoping life magically improves. You'd make it improve. And the truth is, there's a reason you're hearing this right now. There's a reason this video reached you out of millions. Maybe it's because you've been avoiding your potential for too long. Maybe you've been drifting. Maybe you've been saying someday so often that it became your default answer. But someday isn't coming. Only today is real. Only now matters. Every successful person you admire, every athlete, every entrepreneur, every creator, they all had a moment where they looked in the mirror and said, enough. Enough wasting time. Enough pretending. Enough waiting for motivation. And you're standing at that same moment right now. You can feel it. A part of you is tired of your own excuses. A part of you wants to start. A part of you wants to take life seriously. That's the part of you I'm talking to. And that part is stronger than you think. But you have to feed it. You have to give it momentum. Momentum is everything. Once you start showing up for yourself, even in small ways, momentum builds. And once momentum builds, discipline becomes easier. Focus becomes natural. Confidence becomes your default. And eventually, you stop recognizing the old version of yourself. But here's the catch. If you don't start now, momentum builds in the opposite direction. The longer you waste time, the easier it becomes to keep wasting time. The longer you delay your dreams, the harder it feels to start. Every day, you avoid your potential. The gap between you and your future self gets wider. And if you let that gap grow for too long, you risk reaching an age where regret hits harder than failure ever could. Regret is painful. Not the dramatic kind, the silent kind. The kind you feel when you're alone, thinking about all the chances you didn't take, all the time you wasted, all the goals you never even tried to reach. I don't want that for you. FinancialRealityOffical doesn't exist just to talk about money, success, discipline, or mindset. This channel exists to remind you that you have one life, one shit, and you deserve to experience what you're capable of. You deserve to meet the version of you that's been trying to surface for years. And that version isn't waiting for perfect timing. He's waiting for courage. He's waiting for a decision. Not a dramatic one, just a simple choice you make today. So before this video ends, I want you to pause for a second and ask yourself something powerful. If I keep living the way I'm living right now, where will I be in 5 years? Really think about that. Will you be proud of yourself? Will you have moved forward? Or will you still be stuck in the same cycle of tomorrow, later, and maybe? And now asks the opposite question. If I stopped wasting time, if I committed to real growth, if I replaced my worst habit with my best effort, where could I be in 5 years? That question should excite you. It should scare you a little. Because the difference between those two futures, stagnation or transformation, isn't luck. It's time. How you spend your time is how you build your life. And every moment you waste is a moment you're stealing from the best version of yourself. You don't need to change everything today. You just need to start respecting your potential enough to stop wasting the opportunities you get each moment. Start small. Start messy. Start unsure. Just start. And if this message hit you in a way you didn't expect, let me know. Drop a comment below and tell me what part spoke to you the most. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, because you might help spark the change they've been avoiding. And if you want more content that pushes you toward the future you know you are capable of, stay connected with FinancialRealityOffical. The choice is yours now. Your future is yours. Don't waste it.